Hello. Hello, Komal. Hello, Aman. Hi. Yes, so excited. Ma'am will join us soon, and ma'am has joined us. Hello, good evening. Hi. Hello. So many people have joined us today. This is the fan following of ma'am. Hi, Dhani. So I think enough people have joined, and I should start the session. Okay. So, hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to our seventh episode of the Travel Talks. I hope you all are keeping safe and sane. I am Pallavi and I'm from Delhi Urban Adventures, and I have been working with Delhi Urban Adventures since past 6 months, and it has been an amazing journey with them. So today I'll be hosting this session for Dr. Aditi, and I'm really very excited to host this session. And the topic of today's session is the new normal. So as the time is quite uncertain and the industry is finding ways to revive itself. But during this time, we are hearing one word which is quite familiar and quite very common everywhere at every social media, and that word is the new normal. For example, for contactless travel to immunity passports, the Indian tourism industry is finding ways to breathe back. In all these challenging times, the one thing which has always been constant is change. So, if we talk about change, many people are very uh, many people are very scared from the change, and many people are very comfortable with the change. But according to me, change is something we should accept and grow with it. So, today, to embrace this change in a positive way, we have a very special guest today. She is more than a teacher to me. She's a mentor and a guide, and I hope many of you can also relate it to me because she is also your teacher. So she is a tourism academician. She's a certified teacher from Harvard University. She's a multitasking mother, a passionate woman, and inspiration to many. So please welcome on board Dr. Aditi Chaudhary. I'll be joining her just now. Hello,
Hi,
ma'am.
Pallavi.
Ma'am, a
How
very
are
warm
you?
welcome to this session. Thank you for all your time to us.
Thank, thank you very much for all the big words you have used for me. And thank you to for Delhi Adventure for providing this opportunity to an academician to come live and discuss the experience or the thoughts which we carry. And thank you to everyone who is joining me. So it is again a class of 1 hour. So, and this class is unique because it is across batches as well as across classes. And yes, I as a person always strive to learn new, and I get inspiration from everyone across me. So just a small initiative from my side, but thank you very much for all the words and the opportunity you and Delhi Adventure has given to me.
Ma'am, all the words are really, really true.
Thank you.
And like your students have already said things, a lot of things, Mother India of IITT. So, ma'am, I have collected certain questions from the audience and from my teammates as well. So, I'll be asking all of them to you from you. And as I already know you, and most of them might know you, but some of the audience are like some of the audience don't know you that well, and your journey. So, I would love to ask you, like, what inspired you to become a tourism academician?
Okay. So, of course, many of you know me, but as a teacher, I have a social image, and some at times I have not discussed what was my journey to be a travel academician in a very true spirit. So, let me clarify that today. So, since childhood, I was very rebellious, and there was always a type of contradiction between the future planning of myself for me, and the planning my parents have done for me. So tourism is something which is travel is something which is very obvious to us, because my father was a retired from army, and travel was very much normal to us. As when it comes to academician, that has a twist in my story. So after my 12th, my planning and my father planning was not matching, and but then we both have a deal and we negotiated, okay, I will listen to your words and you will also follow my passion. So I opted for BA tourism, and that was very new at that time. I'm talking about 1999 when I joined my graduation. So at that time, tourism was a very new concept, and I will happy to share with you. Kurukshetra University is one of the first university who have started with tourism as a degree course. So I have done my graduation, masters as well as degree doctorate from Kurukshetra University. So I opted for BA with tourism, and that was something which many people were not agreeing to or they adopt to. After my graduation, then it comes to post graduation. Again, post graduation, so I have my post graduation in tourism. Earlier I opted for law. I studied law for 15 days, and then I understood that this is not my cup of tea. So I always want to be on field, talking with people, and learning something new. And tourism gives you that chance that each day you learn something new about a place, about a monument, about a natural phenomena, even about a person. If you are talking to someone, for you Goa can be another interpretation, for me Goa can be another interpretation. So everyone has their own perspective. So tourism helps me to know new things every day. So I opted for masters in tourism, and after that as my two elder sisters are already in teaching, so my father has a plan that I should go for teaching only. But again, I was not very much interested in teaching, because I too as a student was though I was good in academics, but somehow I wanted to be more in industry. But one thing is there, what become a teacher was my destiny, because it was my personal experience. The same concept when I explained to my fellow classmates, because as you all people will study in groups later on near to the exams, so we used to also study similarly. So when I used to explain the concept to them, so they say, oh, kitna easy samajh mein aa gaya. And then they in mind fun or in any way they used to ask me, you should become a teacher, you can become a very good teacher. And then my father, was very adamant that I will not become a teacher. And then he said, okay, then you whatever you want to do, you do, but at least pursue the basic qualifications to become a teacher. So I cleared my eligibility to become a lectureship in my third semester only, when I was studying my masters. So I cleared NET in December 2003. So I was on a very smooth path to become a teacher. And after my post graduation, I opted for industry. I started working with SOTC in sales, in outbound sales. Though during my internship, I wanted to be in inbound operation, but the opportunity which was available at that time was outbound sales. Then I worked very hard there. I was the best salesperson of there, and I have never thought in my life that I can become a salesperson. Then I shifted myself to TCI Corporate Travels, and then from TCI, when it was overtaken by Thomas Cook, ultimately I landed up in Thomas Cook in FIT division as a team leader. So this was something which I wanted. Again, I will disclose one secret, that after my post graduation, I got my teaching job in 2005 only. Within my university, a permanent job. I never opted for that. And it was a big struggle between me and my family. Of course, my husband supported me a lot at that time, because I got married in 2005 only. So he supported me, and he said, okay, you don't want to be a teacher, don't want to be a teacher, you should be in industry. So I passionately worked in industry. And then later on in 2008, when I was blessed with my son, then I understood that my commitment is more towards him now, and industry job sometimes become too challenging to fulfill your family goals also. Then I opted for teaching, and that time plan B of my father helped me a lot, and it was very easy for me to switch from industry to teaching, because I have qualified all the basic necessities. But my struggle my struggle to be in industry helped me a lot today. I feel my classes are more relevant. I can give industry perspective. I can teach my student what is actually required in industry, and that was something we missed when we were students. And I want to fill the gap between the industry and academics. So this is my story. So I also had struggle with my father. There were clashes of opinion, but yes, you have to come on a same page. You have to discuss your terms, and then you have to understand them, and also they will of course understand you, because they are parents. And ultimately I can owe to this position to my father, because if he has not advised me to clear the basic qualification at that time, I would not be able to be a academician, because now the struggle to become an academician is tougher as compared to when we have cleared the net. So that is my story. I have a son. He's 12 years old. My husband is in industry. He's a big support to me. He keeps me updated about all the information which I generally share in classes. So yes, behind a success, there are a lot of efforts. So my family is always there to support me, to help me. That is my story, and I hope
Wow. This is
it's
so inspiring, and thank you so much for sharing all your secrets. And I believe you need to have that balance with your parents and your yes, ma'am. So moving forward, moving forward, as all the organization, brands, government, influencers, and people are talking about the new normal, and this is quite trending also. What, according to you, is the definition of new normal? Why this transformation even necessary for the upliftment of tourism industry?
so for me, the new normal can be defined with 3 T's. Modi ji have given 5 T's, so I come up with my 3 T's. These 3 T's are, of course, trust, technology, and teamwork. So the first thing about but the new normal which we are talking about is a new normal pre-vaccination. Once we have vaccination for COVID, then things will become more smooth and normal. But when we have to travel with the fear of this COVID-19, then the new normal is actually we are talking about. So you will also agree to me that tourism is something which makes us travel to know the unknown, and this is the motivation that makes us to travel. So I have never seen northern lights. I want to see that. So that is the unknown that is attracting me. But what is happening right now is that the fear of unknown virus is also very much impacting the mindset of the tourists. So they are not traveling, or even they have the inclination to travel, they are not ready to travel. So the first thing to handle this new normal will be trust. You have to establish the trust, and trust will be the new currency. So you have to and for trust, you have to communicate with them. So communication during crisis is very important. For example, Dubai airport have given a detailed plan that there are 70 touch points where you can get infected, and they have also explained how as a airport or as a airline we are taking care of that. So that is very important. You have to have a continuous channel of communication. You have to communicate that we understand what is going in your mind, and we are taking care of it. So first thing is trust, which we have to establish. And then second important thing is technology. So we all have to believe that technology is something which has even helped us to survive this COVID. So this is technology through which you are and me are interacting. This is technology through which we have gone for online classes. So technology is very important nowadays, and we should not take this technology as stopgap arrangement. Rather, technology will harness the tourism development. For example, we are talking about contactless service delivery, we are talking about contactless payment, we are talking about virtual tourism, we are talking about robot deliveries in hotels, we are even talking about IoT, Internet of Things, wearable technologies that can tell me how much at risk I am right now, what are my vital signs which help me to understand whether I am not in contact of a infected person. So understanding all these and inculcating technology into your business plan or in the new normal of tourism is very important. So this is technology, something which we all have to adopt, even if we are not having knack of it or we have a skill of it. It is something which is now essential skill. So earlier we used to ask students that or children, beta aapko maths acha lagta hai, science acha lagta hai? I hope after 4-5 years we will be asking, beta you want coding or you want machine language? So that is the change which is going to happen. So even if you have a passion for tourism, technology is something which is very important for you to learn. And the third important point is teamwork, or we can say collaboration. So countries are collaborating, as you have discussed, immunity passport, travel bubble, air bridges, all these are the concepts which are highlighting that countries are collaborating each other. They are opening their borders, they are relaxing the time limit of 14 days of quarantine. So collaboration is key. Collaboration between industry and government is also very important, and we are seeing that happening. SOPs have been laid out, industries of hotels as well, tour operators following that government is understanding concern of tour operators, and they are coming up with different type of packages to help them, though there are always some friction between the two, but of course they have a mindset to listen and to understand. So that collaboration is very important. And then collaboration between tourists and tourism industry is very important. Tourists also need to understand that what is expected from me, and beyond all, the underlying concept can be humanity. It is the fact that we all want to travel. It is the fact that I have understand how fragile is my life, how fragile is my freedom, because one day there was an announcement that you will not go out and we are all stuck. So we have understand that, but again, if we have to collaborate with each other, we have to keep humanity at the first step. If I am not infected, but I can be a carrier, but I have a zeal to travel, and my travel can infect 10 people more, and some of them can be much vulnerable. So that is a concern. So collaborate with people, have empathy, understand the humanity perspective, and then make the new normal possible for all. So that are the 3 T's through which we can understand the new normal of tourism.
Yes, ma'am. This was very insightful to understand, like very easy. For me also, I learned a lot of things. And like for many people, new normal is just wearing a mask and sanitizing your hands. So it gives a lot of insights to it. Thank
We
you,
have
ma'am.
to
So
understand that is also essential, wearing a mask and following all the protocol, because prevention is always better than cure, and
yes,
prevention is
ma'am.
key.
So moving forward to the next question. Earlier, many brands were encouraging the idea of sustainable tourism, but now when nature is healing on its own pace, what role does sustainability has in the new normal according to you?
So one thing, if you talk about positive of COVID, is that nature is relaxing. Nature has taken a break, and what COVID has proved that yes, sustainability can be there. For example, throughout my stay in Noida from 2013 till date, I have never seen air quality as good. And there was a time in
Yes,
April when
ma'am.
there was a indicator on my phone that air quality is good. So that was something because of COVID. But of course, the other implication of COVID is very disheartening as well as very stressful, and the stress meter is going high, particularly for certain industry. But since the term sustainability was coined in 1990s till this date, sustainability was something which we all aimed to achieve, but somehow we were not able to achieve it. It has become a buzzword. But this small break, and we have studied so many reports that Venice, the water color of the water has improved, the air quality of Europe has improved, India is the same case. And then there were many WhatsApp status that I am able to see this Himalayan range from here and there, and then there were memes also on it. So, but it is a fact that COVID has proved something, that where nature is left, it can come back to its normal. So sustainability will always be the actual desired normal. Whatever we have done earlier in wake of overconsumption and over tourism, that was not normal. This is actual the normal which nature is relaxing. So sustainability is not something which a company strive to or adopt a type of tourism. Sustainability is understood in a very wrong concept. Sustainability is not a form of tourism. Sustainability is an approach towards tourism development. Any form of tourism, when it is dwelt on pillars of people, planet, and profit, it automatically becomes sustainable. So if you are doing cultural tourism, it should also be sustainable. Even if you are conducting a walk, it should also be sustainable. So sustainability should be underlying philosophy. And now all the brands in tourism, they have to re-engineer their strategy, their business model on the pillars of sustainability. So they have to invest into, we have heard that vocal for local, we have heard Atmanirbhar Bano. So all these are actually pointing out towards sustainability should be the underlying philosophy. And Indian mythology always, Indian philosophy also always promoted that. For example, Gandhiji has said, it is enough for one's need but not for one's greed. This is the underlying philosophy of sustainability. And COVID has proved that we can live with essentials. And we need not to be very spendthrift to be something. Essentials are what all we require. So companies have to understand that. And then when we come up with when the tourism will start opening, the first place to that will be open will be the tourism attraction in a proximity. So instead of making hype of things that best kept secrets and hidden treasures, this is the fundamental way to improve tourism, is that we have to emphasize on the on the unexplored or the forgotten monument near in your neighborhood. So the proximity tourism, traveling within your locals, exploring it, that will be the actual sustainability underlying philosophy. And then in different stages we can improve. But yes, sustainability has to say, if you want the paradox of tourism kills tourism, should not become a truth. So sustainability should be the underlying philosophy. And you won't agree with me, in 2016 when I was doing my 15-16, when I was collecting my data for my PhD, which is again on sustainable tourism and tour operators. So that was a very give me insight that sustainability is something which everyone is desiring, but they're not able to implement it. So, but now post COVID, and one of the challenge at that time was that there was no demand for sustainable tourism. If a tourist is not ready to pay extra money for something which is very good for society and the local people, so why should a tour operator can come up? But COVID has created this awareness, health, hygiene, safety precautions, taking care of your area. Maybe there will be a time then responsible travel demand will emerge, and automatically products will be sustainable. So that is something very positive from COVID that I can see.
It completely changed my perception, and I think many people have changed their perception right now because of this detailed insight of sustainability, and it was really very interesting. So moving forward, from tours to meetings, everything is being virtually. But what do you think the changing trends will be in the MICE industry?
So if we think of tourism, we can put tourism into two broad categories. One is business travel and one is leisure travel. Fine.
Yeah.
If we compare what will pick up first, of course, business travel will pick up first as compared to leisure travel, because business travel, in business travel, the motivation to travel is something different than from a leisure travel. When it comes to business travel, if we see from the perspective of Indian economy, we have majority of MSMEs, small and mid-sized entrepreneurs, and then we have few MNCs, the big corporates. So of course, big corporates, MNCs, those who have adopted technology very well, for them, corporate travel and business travel will be a big no in initial days. And also COVID has broken this myth that work is also from office. We all are very comfortable from work from home now. We have adapted that strategy, and work from home is something which is not very difficult for us. So what will happen? Business travel will pick up first as compared to leisure travel, but it will be not as huge as it was earlier. It will be restricted for mid-size as well as SMEs. But when they travel, of course, the key role the tour operator has to play is to take care of their safety. Again, when earlier when corporate people used to travel, cost and price was the main concern for them. So there were travel and financial restriction that everyone has to follow. But now, other than cost, there will be a concept of duty of care. Duty of care means that if your employee is traveling, as a corporate, you have to ensure that he or she should not become victim of or get infected. So duty of care will be a demand from the companies, and tour operator have to follow that demand. We cannot say that everything be virtual, because we should understand there is a problem of time zones also. So if I am here at this time in US right now, it can be morning. So how can meetings and events can take place? So of course, business travel will start. It will start with slow, it will rebound very late, but once leisure travel will start, it will start like a at a very high rate. Because what will happen, we all want to travel once lockdown is over. So there is a concept in China also which they are calling revenge tourism. Revenge tourism, people are deliberately traveling more because they were not able to travel earlier. So, and then when leisure travel will start in India, there is a chance that this revenge tourism can be uh, very great in numbers, but business travel will pick up later, and it will rebound slowly, but then it will be not as huge as it was earlier. Companies needs to understand this. They have to adopt their policies accordingly, and they have to cater to the market accordingly. But yes, even economic slowdown is there. Some of the industries are suffering from because we are just spending on the essentials. So mice will pick up, particularly for certain industry like entertainment. You cannot do everything virtually. For retail, you cannot do everything virtually. So for them, business travel will be necessity, but it will rebound slowly.
Thank you, ma'am, for this insight. And I also believe like the conferences and meetings are made to bond and do networking with people.
Yeah.
So it
You
is not
cannot sign,
gonna,
you cannot sign a deal of crores on FaceTime or on
yeah.
Zoom meetings. So of course it will start, and what will happen, Pallavi, is that earlier what happened when SARS was there or any other problem was there. So there was restriction that because financial crunch is there, so they said that the first level employer, second level employee will travel in bus, or they will travel in coaches or even train, but not in flights. But now because of COVID, what is there? It is said flights will be the safest to travel because touch points are limited and we can control their touch point. So I was studying a report. It says that business pods will come. Business pods within a flight will come, which will offer you all the services which a business tourist might require, and this pod will in itself become a small place for you to do your meetings and everything. So that are the new ideas and innovation that are coming up, and that will of course revolutionize the mice market.
Yes, ma'am. And like different companies are also offering space, just like Oyo, which is offering space for to work for the
Yes,
people. So I believe slowly and steadily we are gonna come back to our
definitely,
pace.
definitely.
Yeah. So moving forward, in these difficult times, if we see on the brighter side, some people are using this time to plan and work for their new ventures. And I think some of my friends are also doing this. So what is the scope of new travel startup in the beginning?
uh, Again, this time is very dicey time. So we have startups which are suffering cash loss, revenues are not there, and they are on the verge of closing. And there are several studies which say that this is very difficult time for startups who are just started, and then they are not able to give return on the investment which the investor has given. But if we think from other perspective, it is generally said all the innovations are generally during crisis. What happens is crisis is we search for meanings, and in search of this meaning we come up with new innovation. So just want to discuss an example. UNWTO in the month of April and May, they have done a startup competition, and the name of the competition was Healing Solutions for Tourism. there were 100 countries that participated. There were around 1,000 applications that were there with new startup ideas that can help tourism to heal from perspective of people, planet, and of profit. And out of these 1,100 case studies, 9 were picked up as the best case studies. So that is an example that during this crisis, we have to think ahead. We have to think in a manner that we can create meaning for people, or we can create meaningful solution for people. And then when we are innovating, we can say that our startup is something which has revolutionized, disrupted, or changed this COVID-19 scenario. For example, you all can go and check. There is a company in Hyderabad called Quaqua. This company is doing wonders in virtual tourism. In June, they have received 1 million funding in virtual tourism. So they plan your journey from dreaming till booking through virtually. You can all go and today's Google it, Quaqua. It means that if they are able to cater a solution in this problem, people are ready to invest. Money is still there in market, provided you have an idea to catch that money. And it is also said, for example, I will give an example of two people. They were not able to work with Facebook. They were not able to work in Google. They came up with the idea which we call WhatsApp, and the whole world is using WhatsApp nowadays. So you should have a meaningful solution for the people. And even during COVID, you can think from that perspective. And there is a Japanese saying which says that fall 7 times and stand up 8 times. That is a true story of an entrepreneur. So fail, fail, fail again and rebound. That can be the only solution during this time. So keep exploring, come up with new ideas. There is never a single idea that can make a startup. Airbnb come up with many ideas, and finally they are pioneer nowadays. So you can strive and strive again. If you have zeal, nothing can stop you. Even APJ Abdul Kalam ji have said, fail is first attempt in learning. So you have to fail in your life. Failures are blessings rather.
So, ma'am, you have already talked about virtual tourism. I would like to know more about it, like how it's gonna be after the COVID when the situation is normal and the startups are of actual tourism companies.
Virtual tourism can be used at different stages of travel planning. So generally the travel planning is that we dream, we search, we book, we experience. These are the 4 generic stages of travel planning. So when we dream, virtual tourism can actually help me to dream. I want to see northern lights, and if through virtually using VR set, and I was also studying earlier, VR set were very huge and the cost was very high. But again, companies like Sony and other, they are coming up with technologies, wearable technologies that are easy to handle and even not very expensive. So virtual tourism can help us to dream. Through virtual tourism, we can dream. And again, the new technologies which are coming, they even help us to book. So if you wear that VR set, you can see the checklist, you can pick up from it, you can even pay using your virtual credit card. So even if you go and check, Amadeus has come up with this technology. So this will help you to have a contactless journey, contactless payment, experience before traveling, and assuring that once I reach there, I have the same experience. So this is the way virtual tourism can revolutionize. At present, when we are not able to travel, we can learn today and travel later. So virtual tourism can help in that.
Very well said, ma'am. I think tourism is going to boom with virtual tourism also because not everyone is able to travel every time.
Of course.
Yeah. So moving forward to our next question, even in the COVID, new ideas are coming live to start to travel again with all the precautions, but people are hesitant to travel and eager to consider travel. So, how brands should market themselves to promote safe travels?
The first key for a brand to rebound is personalization. Understand the perspective of your customer. Understand where the person is stuck now and what are the limitations within which he or she can travel. So if you go back and you study that at present, travel to local areas, stay vacations, then drive in trips, self drives, as well as caravan tour. These are coming up. So these are the way you can ensure the trust into a customer. Also, as discussed initially in the talk, we discussed that trust is the currency. So you have to be very open with your customer. You cannot say like you generally as a travel intermediary, that was our limitation, that we used to say that my liability is fixed to this only, and I as a third party cannot assure you service quality of X, Y, and Z. And that is was also very logical at that time. But now when you want your travel tourist to travel, you have to ensure that hotel which I am selecting, the airline which I am selecting, the car which I am giving to them, the homestay which I am selecting, the staycation which I am offering, they are following all the precautions and protocols. And then you have to communicate that to them. Because if you are not able to communicate, who will understand that yes, you are following that? So you have to overcome the fear of your customer. You have to instill trust into them. You have to personalize the product, and you cannot the GIT is not going to happen. Group tours will be very limited, numbers will be definitely be small. So FIT will pick up, and in single FIT I need the huge efforts which we have to put. GIT is more easy to sell because there is single brochure product and inclusion will not change. You have to just convince the customer and the work is done. But when it comes to FIT itinerary, you have to work on each aspect, right from the check-in, check-out, transfers, what meals, etc. You have to take care. So when you have to give 100% personalized services, that will instill trust. You have to have an open communication channel, that will instill trust, as well as you have to take care that the supply chain is following all the precaution which is necessary. Because in the end of the day, you are going to stay in a hotel, you are going to use a airline. So if the supply chain is not taken care, or the COVID protocols are not followed, you will never be able to instill faith in your customer, and he will never go out from home. So that is something which we all have to work and focus on the area around you, the thing which we have not seen. There was generally a hype among us that I have not seen Northern Lights and I have not seen this, but we never care to sit and see sunset at India Gate or sunrise at India Gate. So that is something which we should understand and we should explore. Start within Delhi, then to the near proximity 300, 400 kilometers, and then when the things will become normal, then you can travel within India. International will definitely take some time until unless we come up with some travel bubble or any collaboration with nations. So that is the main thing.
Yes, ma'am. I also believe like we should appreciate the small things around us
Yes.
before going to the bigger things like Northern Lights.
Yeah, we generally we aim high and we
Yeah,
forget to appreciate what is around us. And there is
yeah.
also good saying, small is beautiful. So we should go for small, identify the beautiness of the thing, and then we can further travel.
And India is actually really beautiful to see rather than going out and giving business.
Yes, yes.
But like I really hope the domestic will boom this time after the COVID.
Domestic has to boom if they want to encash tourism. Otherwise,
Yeah.
international travel is not possible, and domestic is something which will pick up early, very early.
And
So
that quite, yeah, ma'am.
and there are hotels that have come up with ideas. They are giving you stay vacations. They are giving you resort-based properties. They are ensuring you that we have taken all the security protocols and safety protocols, hygiene protocols. So even there are offers which are there for August, because in August we have extended weekend. So in domestic we have seen that products are there. Companies have start offering these products, and people are even inquiring on their platform, and they are asking what you are doing, what the motivation and the push is there. The people are ready to travel. The moment things have become little positive from them, travel will boom like anything.
But ma'am, what do you think about the communities out there who like in Spiti and in the mountains? Will they be able to like host the guest?
So for that, we have come up with a idea which we call community asset. You need to empower the community first. There are many social
Yeah.
entrepreneurs who are doing this. There are many social entrepreneurs who, before launching the product into the market, they go and they stay with the community, empower the community. They teach them how they have to handle tourists, and then they open the place for the tourists. So the education part is required on both sides, on the part of the community as well as on the part of the tourist. And then safety protocols has to be followed. Then we, like Goa has open tourism, but they have come up with the safety like health certificate. Otherwise, we will quarantine you for 14 days. Even tour operators are making packages in which they are including the cost. In case if you become COVID-19 infected, then the cost of 14 days of quarantine will be this. So now the customer has to become careful that whether I should travel or not to travel.
Thank you, ma'am. Such a detailed insight to this. So moving forward, we have a question like just like the tourism industry, hospitality industry has also been impacted by the virus. So what according to you should be the steps taken by the industry to fit in the new normal?
Hotel industry is something which has to be very careful, because the number of contacts in a hotel is huge, uh, and they have come up with their own plan, and they have identified that what will be the challenges for them and how they have to recoup with it. So other they have their protocols which are aligned with protocols given by global organization as well as Indian government. And for example, Marriott chain, they have come up with a project called We Care, in which they have disclosed there are 200 touch points where a customer, if coming, a tourist coming to their property, they can become infected. And then they have also communicated how we are going to take it. So PP kits are mandatory for everybody. Regular disinfection is done. Tables you in the restaurants are at a distance of as per the social norms. Then they have no buffet. They are using a la carte. They have cashless deliveries. They have DIY check-ins and check-outs through mobile. So they have taken all the protocols and they are conveying that we are there. And then they give you option. You want a 100% contactless stay. So even in your room, no delivery will be done by person. They are using robots to deliver different types of things which we require generally in a hotel. So they have come up with their own plan. They have instilled faith in the tourists by the collaborating with different health and hygiene companies like Reckitt Benckiser and then Mayo Clinic. Like Hilton has done a tie-up with them. So they have done tie-up with them. They are in disinfecting their hotel on the same scale as a hospital is disinfected. So it means that they are taking all the precautions, and at the same time all these strategies will motivate a person to travel. But after that also they have to take care of the marketing strategy. Their digital assets should be very good. Some of the hotels, homestays, still they are not, they don't have a very good website. Come up with a website, come up with a mobile application where you can book, you can pay, you can check in, you can check out, you can order, you can do everything. You need not to have a contact with anybody through which you can get infected. So the digital asset should be very good. And then they should have also a revamped strategy from right from having flexible booking norms. Reservation should be flexible, cancellation policy should be well aware and described to the tourist, and then loyalty programs. Every hotel has their own loyalty customers, so they are the first target through which they can instill a hope. And it is a human tendency that if in a hotel 20 people are going, then we become a little bit easy that yes, if 20 people are going, something that hotel is doing, so I should also go. So the loyalty customers are the first target which they should see, and they could motivate them to come to their hotel. But yes, hotel industry has to work very hard, and they have to be very convincing, as well as they have to reinvent their whole model so that they can convince the tourists that we are ready to take care of you.
Ma'am, with this huge changes, I believe the travel will also be little expensive.
Travel, as by the definition, travel is always something which we do when
Staying
we
in hotels. Yeah,
travel is
staying.
all. Yeah, so we say that when we meet the basic demands, then we go for travel. The travel, though, in last year, it has become a lifestyle activity. Earlier, travel was a luxury. Then we have democratization of travel, and it become a lifestyle issue. And everybody wants to travel during weekend, and that has become something of their lifestyle. But now again, due to COVID, yes, we have conscious travel, we have premium travel, we have, until unless we are able to come up with we have to be very educated while when we are traveling. Otherwise a tourist can be a threat. For example, in India, the problem started with Italian tourists coming to India, a person returned from Italy. So of course it will become a little expensive, but then it's worth it now, because
Yeah.
we cannot we cannot destroy a place because it is beautiful. The place has its beauty, and you have to pay something more to experience that. So Bhutan is a very good case study. Bhutan, deliberately they have increased their price, and they say we want premium customer to come to our place. We have to differentiate between today's profit and tomorrow's loss. So if you have a very myopic viewpoint that you want to get everything today, of course the destination will not be there. But if you have a long term vision, you can see that slowly I can be more profitable if I take care of the things, and I can increase the price. Then the travel will be more conscious. And you won't believe, there is a study in Harvard which says that 90% of the people do not ask for discount standing in a big brand, because psychologically they think that discount will not be given. We never go in Zara and say bhaiya thik thik lagao. We never do that, because we know that their discounts are not there. And then similar study says that 10% of people, if they have asked for a discount, they have get something. If they have not get discount, so that 10%, 90% have got something. So it is generally the way we train our customer. If we train them that this is conscious travel, and we are taking care of community, we are taking care of nature, and this is the add-on fee which you have to pay, tourists will be there to pay, ready for paid. And that is the responsible market. That is, and this I also discussed in starting, that the sustainability was desired by every tour operator, but they were not able to implement it because there was no market for it. Customer were not ready to pay for it. But when customer is ready to pay for it, then of course everything will become responsible and sustainable.
Thank you
Yes.
for this answer, ma'am. So coming to the last question, there is this question is also my favorite because I can relate to it. There is a lot of uncertainty in the young minds. As an academician, what would be your advice to young generation who started off their career as a tourism professional or are still studying tourism?
Certainty is something which is very natural to human beings. Everything is uncertain. Even before I was at 5:55, I was uncertain how was the talk will go. So uncertainty is of course basic to human nature, but and it is good to be uncertain in certain aspects. But what we can do is that we have to be eternal optimist. We have to work on our skill set. One thing which I have realized during this COVID-19 is that your skill set can become obsolete any day. My teaching become obsolete on the day when it was said that you have to go online. For me, teaching even through PPT was something which I never enjoyed. So I used to come in class, I have talk, and then in the end I used to open the PPT. But if you ask me now that you have to teach them and there is no physical interaction, or I have to talk to a screen, that was a challenge. So during COVID, my skill become obsolete in a single day. But then I upgraded myself. I studied what are the basic ways we can interact, how we can give insightful assignments to my students, how they can collaborate. So you have to be very positive. You have to believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, nothing is impossible for you. You have to upgrade your skills, and you have to keep in mind that change is always there. Take all the change as a challenge, and in each challenge there is an opportunity. Don't think it as a problem. So when you are upgrading yourself, and we have seen even many companies in tourism, they have diversified themselves immediately into edutech companies. So they have come up with their own academies, and those who were as a salesperson, they immediately become a teacher. So they are starting, and they are teaching, and they are enjoying that teaching. So that means you are ready to upgrade yourself. So this time is a time when you have to sit, you have to hone your skills, you have to learn new skills. And remember, in tourism, and that line is even given by one of your senior, you should be jack of all trade and master of one. So you have to become jack of all trade in tourism. You never know how this will happen. Post COVID, multitasking will start. Post COVID, if you say that I only want to do inbound operations, that is something which you have to say no. You have to be multitasker. You should do everything, but you should be expert in one. Nobody else could match that. And yes, technology is very important. Enhance your technology skill. learn about digital marketing, learn about AI, learn about coding. Even 6-year-old child is sixth class child is studying out coding. So you have to, and students are doing this. So we generally ask our student what are the skills you want to learn now, and we have a list of skills which are related with technology. And we have seen, Pallavi, last few days we have done a workshop in travel writing, and people are ready to hone their skills. They are saying that I am a company, but I don't want the freelancer to write the blog for me. I will write blog for myself. So that means people are upgrading themselves. So this is the right time thing. Don't get negative. Tourism will boom. 100% is the word. It will come back sooner or later, and once it will come back, there will be plenty of opportunities available. You should have the right skill set to enhance that opportunities.
Yes, ma'am. I actually believe that in this tough times, we should learn and increase our skills so that we can shine bright when the things are better. And thank you for such positive insight. I hope people could relate to it. I actually did. And with this, we come to the end of this wonderful session. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being with us and giving us such your valuable time. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you very much. You are a very good moderator. The way you summarized my insight, so that is actually very meaningful for all of us. Thank you, Delhi Adventure, for giving an academician an opportunity and speak. Thank you, all my dear students who are there, and I hope something valuable I have shared with you. And see you soon. Thank you very much. Thank you, Komal, for giving this opportunity.
It's a pleasure for us, ma'am. Thank you so much. And thank you all for joining us today and keep supporting us. If you liked our session, please share it with your family and friends. And we'll be posting it soon on our IGTV so that whoever has missed it can see it. And till then, please wait for the update. And thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, bye
Stay
bye.
positive. Learn a lot.
Yeah, stay positive. We'll be back soon with the bang in our industry and things
Definitely.
will be better. Okay, ma'am.
Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.